You've reached the busy signal. I'm Jim, your host, and this podcast is all about revisiting the pop culture we grew up with. From the TV shows and movies we love, to music, commercials, and the moments that never really left us. The Busy Signal, episode 74. Thanks for listening. Hey everybody. Today's episode was inspired by some recent news out of Sony. It's been a couple weeks now since that news, but in the off chance you haven't heard yet, the company that helped make CDs, the standard for video games, going all the way back to the original PlayStation, has announced that it's phasing out new physical game discs beginning in 2028. And that's got plenty of people upset for pretty good reasons. And I'm not here to weigh in on the right or wrong of it all. I've said it before, the Busy Signal is a safe place. No anger here. Just happy memories, mostly. Nostalgia and surge, that's our mantra, right? We keep it light here. But for reals, the Sony news got me thinking about some things, like how over the course of our lives, we've watched physical media come and go. Every few years, there seemed to be some new format that was supposed to be the future. Some lasted for decades, some barely had a chance. But every one of them left behind memories. So today, we're taking a look back at the physical media I remember growing up with, from vinyl records, cassette tapes, VHS tapes, game cartridges, CD-ROMs, and more, because growing up in the 80s, 90s, and even those early 2000s, entertainment wasn't just something you streamed. It was something you could literally hold on to with your hands. As always, we won't just be talking about these memories, we'll be reliving them through the commercials that championed these formats and promised that they were the next big thing. So dust off your Walkman, Discman, Game Boy, PS1, or VCR, because we're loading up on old school physical media right here on the Busy Signal. Since gaming was the inspiration for this episode, why don't we just start there? When I got my Nintendo as a kid in like 1987-ish, every game I owned was a physical cartridge. I didn't have a massive collection, but I did have enough that when I spread them out on the floor, I kind of felt like I owned treasure. I'd pull them out of their dust sleeves, line them up, look at the label art, and decide what kind of day I was going to have. It was almost like being Scrooge McDuck diving into his money vault, except my fortune was measured in NES cartridges. There was something satisfying about the weight of them, the textured plastic, and of course, that little ritual we all remember, blowing in the cartridge. Because it really was part of the experience.
We've equipped the Nintendo Entertainment System with the first interactive video robot, the first light-sensing video gun, and the largest selection of video game hits. The result? The Nintendo Entertainment System. Now you're playing with power.
Then came the Super Nintendo, and suddenly everything changed. The cartridges looked completely different. They were a lighter gray, stubby, kind of rounded, and somehow felt more futuristic. Building an SNES collection felt like starting over, and every new game was another trophy on the shelf. Friends would come over, we'd flip through the stack of games together, admire the box art, and argue over what we were playing next. Just holding those cartridges made video games feel real.
Okay, class, pop quiz. Question number 1. You want to buy a video game system. Super NES gives you 4 free games. Sega gives you no free games. Which do you choose? Number 2. Farmer Brown has 4 chickens to trade for a video game system. Super NES gives him 4 free games. Sega, no free games. Which should Farmer Brown choose? Number 3.
Buy any Super NES system and for $3.50 postage, we'll send you Super Mario All-Stars. That's 4 games free. Now who would miss an offer like that?
Could you repeat the question?
Now, I was always a Nintendo kid, so I never owned a Sega Genesis, but whenever I went to a friend's house who owned a Genesis, I couldn't wait to check out their collection. Genesis cartridges were black, shaped different, and definitely had their own style, but even before you played a game, you could tell you were experiencing something different. Even the artwork was edgier. Gaming wasn't just about playing the games back then, it was about collecting, sharing, and physically experiencing something together. Yeah, you actually had to be in the same room to play against somebody in video games back in the day. Like, you were both on the couch or on the floor, and somebody does something stupid and you could just push them over or throw your controller at them when you got angry or just literally yell at them to their face or high five them when you guys had victories. Video games were a physical experience in person.
Now, when you buy the Sega Genesis that comes with Sonic 1, you'll get Sonic 2 absolutely free. Sonic 2 handles stubborn stains, embarrassing bald spots, no problem. It even slices and dices, makes thousands of julienne fries. But wait, you can play it too. This free Sonic 2 is a $54.99 value. You get 2 Sonics for the price of 1. Sonic 2 fits easily into any tackle box. Made from a space-age polymer plastic for years of family fun. And pets love it too. Buy the Sega Genesis that comes with Sonic 1 and get Sonic 2 free. Act now. Wiener Dog sweaters sold separately.
And of course, after the 16-bit era, we start getting into like the N64. But really, it was that PlayStation. That first PlayStation 1, when all of a sudden we had discs. And I was just like, wow, I didn't have a PlayStation. I chose the N64 route because honestly, between you and me, I did not like loading times. I would play the PlayStation at a friend's house and there was always these loading times. And I kept thinking to myself, my N64 cartridges never load. But there was some give and take there. I'd actually learned recently, like when I would play like Toy Story 2 on Nintendo 64 cartridge. I love that game. It's a great game. And then I've recently played the PlayStation version of Toy Story 2, and there were video cutscenes from Toy Story 2 that were actually on the disc for PlayStation that weren't in N64 cartridges. So there was pros and cons, but I chose the N64 route and I don't regret it because, 007 and Mario Kart, right? But PlayStation really did standardize going forward CD-ROMs for games. I think people that got PlayStations never regretted it. But yeah, PlayStation brought in those physical discs that we all still use now that Sony's telling us they're going to get rid of by 2028.
Hey, plumber boy, mustache man, your worst nightmare has arrived.
Pack up your stuff. I got a little surprise for you here.
Check it out. What do you think about that? We got real-time, 3D, lush organic environments. How's that make you feel, buddy?
Feel a little like your days are numbered?
I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
You're hurting my elbow.
Is that Italian?
No, Bandicoot is an Australian name.
Games weren't the only thing that went through these upgrade periods where the physical formats changed. Music did the same thing. Before CDs, before cassettes, and way before streaming, there were records. I was born in the early 1980s, so my parents still had a record collection. And by the way, records were still being sold back then when I was a kid in the early 80s.
The world is listening to Tears for Fears. And the worldwide #1 hits, Everybody Wants to Rule the World and Shout. Tears for Fears, songs from the big chair, on Mercury Records, cassettes, and compact discs. Available at all Walmart record departments.
I loved flipping through those giant album sleeves. The artwork wasn't just something you glanced at, it was practically a poster. They were like a whole package. You'd pull out the lyric sheets, photos of the band, or liner notes. You could spend just as much time looking at an album as you did listening to it. Holding a record just made the music feel like an event. And then, of course, cassette tapes come out, and suddenly your music is way more portable.
Today's sophisticated audio equipment doesn't often break down. Ordinary audio tape often does. So next time, get Maxell, or your sophisticated equipment may not sound very sophisticated.
You could throw a handful of cassettes into a case, or bring them to a friend's house, or pop one into your car stereo or boombox. The album art in cassette tapes was like this little fold out with lyrics, pictures, and credits, and we still pored over every little segment of those pages. And the best part? You could lend a tape to a friend, trade albums, or make a mixtape for someone else. It was your music. You owned it. You bought it, you owned it. And you could take it with you wherever you wanted, whenever you wanted. And also, does anyone remember that cassette foldouts had like a particular smell, kind of like glue and a new kitchen sponge? Or was that just me? Now, when CDs arrived, they felt like the future. Crystal clear sound, no rewinding, no worrying about whether your tape was going to be eaten by the player. People built massive CD collections. They filled towers in their bedrooms and carried huge CD binders in their cars. The booklets still had artwork and lyrics, and as far as I'm concerned, scanning the thank you notes was always the best part because I always discovered new bands to listen to. And then we discovered we could burn our own CDs.
Your new CD has at least one song you absolutely love. Several. You could take or leave. And a couple you absolutely hate. It's a good thing Philips makes CD recorders. With its 3-disc changer and high-speed recording, you can make your own custom CDs quickly and easily. And compared with PC burners and other CD recorders, Philips BitSync technology assures incredibly accurate copies. Philips CD recorders for perfect copies.
Call now for Philips special 50/50 offer. $50 off the price of a Philips CD recorder, plus $50 in free blank audio CDs. $100 value. Available now for a limited time. Call for your free rebate coupons in the Philips retailer nearest you.
Suddenly, you could make the perfect road trip mix or a custom playlist years before streaming ever existed. But it was still something you could hold in your hands. A stack of blank CDRs for Christmas was the best gift you could possibly get or give someone. Little did we realize back then, though, how quickly the future becomes the past. Like just when we got comfortable with CDs, MP3s changed everything. The music itself became digital, but we still owned it. We'd buy songs, or at least we should have. We ripped our own CDs and stored them on our computers. We'd burn those MP3s onto blank CDs, copy them onto USB flash drives, or load them onto portable MP3 players.
Never listen to music the same way you gamble. If you win an MP3 player in the Tang Honeycomb MP3 giveaway. Cassettes? MP3 players let you download music from the internet. So anything else is like extinct. 2,000 will win instantly. Details on marked boxes of Tang pouches and honeycomb cereal. Part of this good breakfast. Many will play, few will win. So check it out. Watch out! I can't stop myself!
Our music libraries could finally fit in our pocket, but they were still ours. We decided where to store them. We decided when to play them and who to share them with. It was the beginning of the digital age, but we still had that sense of ownership that physical media had always given us. And just like with video games, music wasn't the only thing that went through a physical media evolution. Movies went through that same journey. Home video media went through some big changes over the last few decades, if you remember. Before VHS took over, there was the Betamax versus VHS war.
If you're looking at video cassette recorders and you're confused by all your choices, just look at the most important feature of all, the picture. And Sony Betamax records a sharper picture than VHS. That's not just our opinion. In tests throughout the country, more people said the picture was sharper with Sony Betamax than VHS. So why doesn't anyone else talk sharper picture? Because no one else can. Betamax, a sharper picture.
I was way too young to remember this happening, but it was one of the first major battles over home video. Sony's Betamax actually came out first and had a reputation for better picture quality. But VHS eventually won because it was cheaper, had longer recording times, and more companies readily supported it. VHS was where home movies really became part of everyday life. Like suddenly you didn't have to wait for a movie to come on TV. You could go to the video store and rent one. You could buy your favorite movies and build a collection.
Now you can take the hippest film of the year home for keeps.
Awesome!
Because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, is on video cassette for just $24.99.
Righteous!
And it only gets better because each video comes with coupons for over $20 worth of food and drinks from Pizza Hut.
I love being a turtle!
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie.
Cowabunga!
Get them while they're hot.
Also, you could record things off of television and watch them whenever you wanted. I actually still remember my family's first VCR. I probably mentioned it in past episodes, but I don't remember what brand it was. But I remember that the remote control wasn't wireless. It literally was connected to the VCR with a cord. But for me, at the time, it sure felt like the future. even though I tripped over the future a lot. And one of my favorite memories, my mom would record all my favorite cartoons for me on VHS cassette tape, commercials and all, and I'd watch those tapes over and over throughout the week. And honestly, that's probably why I love old commercials so much today. Welcome to the busy signal. At some point, there was Laserdisc. I personally never owned one, and I really didn't encounter one until like way later in the game. Like, DVDs were already out when I had learned Laserdisc was a thing. So if this seems out of order here, it's really because it is. This episode is based on my timeline of experiences with physical media, so bear with me. Anyway, they were basically this high-end home theater format of the time. They came out in like 1978 and survived all the way through the 80s and 90s. They looked like giant records, like silver records, and apparently offered incredible picture and sound quality.
Music video, I can't see it. If the music don't sound good, who cares what the picture looks like? Then Pioneer gives me their laser disc player. It's a video turntable that works with a laser beam, and that laser beam makes all the difference, they tell me. I'm a little skeptical, but I listen. I listen to Flashdance. I listen to Duran Duran. I listen to Raiders of the Lost Ark. I even listen to me, and I sound good. I sound better than good. Fact is, the stereo on the Pioneer Laserdisc is as good as anything I ever heard on my stereo. And according to the experts, the picture blows videotape away. Now, who am I to argue?
The Pioneer Laserdisc brand video disc player. Video for those who really care about audio.
I like it so much I got one for my friend George Sherry.
For the Laserdisc dealer nearest you, call 800-621-5199.
Does anybody remember Laserdiscs? Did anybody own a Laserdisc? Love to hear that. And then next, DVDs showed up, and everybody was being told it was time to upgrade again.
DVD. See it. Buy it. Own it. Watch it once. Watch it twice. Spend hours watching extras beyond the movie and enter the world of stars and directors and the magic they make. Build a collection for the family. With over 9,000 movies to own, it's the most convenient way to watch a movie. DVD.
But this transition was interesting because we already had VHS collections. People had shelves full of movies, and we needed to get a whole new player to boot? Forget your VHS collection, buy all your movies again. And DVD players weren't cheap at first either. They were this expensive, futuristic piece of technology, and you'd see them at Best Buy or department stores. And there was a bit of resistance for a while because they were so expensive. People were still buying and renting VHSs because that's what they already had. The thing that really changed everything was the PlayStation 2. Sony basically snuck a DVD player into a game console for around $200. You got a game system and one of the cheapest DVD players available. And that really helped bring DVD into millions of homes.
Everybody should be completely psyched about this. It's the PlayStation 2 computer entertainment system at Walmart. PlayStation 2 has the realism that gamers are looking for. You want to be in the game. You want to be the game. It's got a CD player, DVD player, incredible graphics. You can play the old games on the system, but wait till you see the new ones. It's a whole mental body feel. Buy your PlayStation 2 here at Walmart, because we have everyday low prices. There is no hype. It's what it says it is. PlayStation 2, get it at Walmart.
If your kid had a new PS2 console, by default, you also had a DVD player, and that was the difference. PS2 even had a remote control to help you get used to having a DVD player. It was great. So of course, just as humanity finally gets comfortable with DVDs, here we go again. Another format war. This time, HD DVD versus Blu-ray. Honestly, it wasn't nearly as dramatic as the VHS versus Betamax. Both formats offered high-definition movies.
You think you've seen it all. All the action. All the adventure. But what if there was something your eyes were missing? With 6 times the resolution of standard DVDs, plus high-def surround sound, HD DVD makes your chases high-speedier. Your heroes testosteronier, and your enemies bloodthirstier. And now, for the first time, high definition becomes fully connected online. The future of high definition is here, and it's perfect. You're not getting the HD TV experience until you get HD DVD.
But Blu-ray eventually won, and once again, Sony had a secret weapon. PS3 included a Blu-ray player, just like the PS2 helped DVDs take off. The PS3 helped put the final nail in HD DVD's coffin.
Dear PlayStation, my grandma won't stop watching Blu-ray movies on my PS3.
Look, for $299, you don't just get a sweet gaming machine. It's like you get the best Blu-ray player around built in for free. You know how old people like free stuff.
Yeah, but
You know what she did for fun when she was your age? She pushed a hoop with a stick.
But I want to play
With a stick.
I've been waiting.
Stick.
PS3, now $299.
Today, Blu-ray still exists, but now it's competing with something completely different. Streaming. Looking back, it's kind of crazy to think how many physical formats we went through. Just movies and TV. Betamax, VHS, Laserdiscs, DVD, HDVD, Blu-ray. Every few years we're being told we need to replace our collections and upgrade to the next big thing. But the thing all of these formats had in common? Ownership. You could buy a movie, own that movie, and lend it to a friend, make a backup copy, put it on your shelf, see it sitting there. It was something you could touch, hold, pick up, leave, whatever. And that's really what makes physical media special. It wasn't just about watching a movie, it was about owning a piece of it. And that brings us from movie physical media to another area where we watched exactly the same evolution happen. Computer storage. Because at the same time that music, movies, and video games were changing formats, our computers were going through that same cycle of bigger, faster, smaller, and eventually almost invisible. When I was growing up, I remember floppy disks. And for those who weren't there for it, it was floppy.
Memorex brings you a slight exaggeration. Most floppy disk edges are sealed just here and there, but not Memorex. We seal every inch of every edge with solid seam bonding. So a Memorex edge fights bulges, puckers, warps. Because of all that jams your disk drive, you can lose all your data. And that's no exaggeration. Memorex has the edge.
And this is how you stored your files, your programs, your games. You'd slide a disk into the computer, and it felt like you were loading something from the future. And then almost overnight, those giant floppy disks were replaced by 3.5-inch floppy disks. And that was not floppy, but we kept the name. I don't know why. Those little plastic squares became the standard, and they could hold 1.44 megabytes of data, which at the time felt like a ton. Then big tech gifted us with CD-ROMs. We've talked about CD-ROMs and all those portable storage formats before in other tech episodes, and honestly, you should go back and check them out because they're really fun. But CD-ROMs really felt like the future. These shiny silver discs that looked like little mirrors held huge amounts of information, spun super fast, and were read by lasers. That was literally science fiction manifesting itself into reality. And suddenly, instead of storing data on little magnetic disks, you had hundreds of megabytes on one disk.
At Radio Shack, we've always made the latest technology easy to understand for your family. And now our CD-ROM computers make it easy to bring entire libraries to life. Experience the power of Tandy multimedia computers. Only at Radio Shack.
You could install software, play games, watch videos, share files, and eventually even burn your own CDs. It was incredible. What's next? What could possibly knock CDs out of the computer storage game? Well, I remember seeing my first USB flash drive around 2002 or 2003. I think it was a Lexar thumb drive or whatever it was called, but it held 64 megabytes. And I remember thinking, wait, this tiny little thing can hold how much? Because before that, I had a zip drive, and that used thick, big pieces of plastic that looked like oversized, floppy disks, and they held 100 megabytes, but they were still big. Even CDs were kind of big. I mean, bigger than a flash drive at least. And now, suddenly you could carry a decent amount of storage on your keychain. That was the moment where the future may have actually shown up. Like if I thought the future was showing up before, this was it. From then on, hard drive capacities kept getting bigger while the actual storage device kept getting smaller. Our entire lives could fit inside a laptop and then a phone. Pictures, music, movies, documents, everything became data. Maybe that's the future, but there's still a part of me that wants to actually literally hold on to things that I love. Games, music, movies, whatever. It's the same story with computer storage. From the 80s through the early 2000s, every few years, the future arrived, something new came along, and it was smaller, faster, and held more. It's kind of amazing when you think about it, how many times we've watched the future change, like literally right in front of us. I know we just covered a lot in a very short amount of time, but it's been a lot of fun to look back, literally at the last 40 years of physical media. Fun, but bittersweet at the same time. We've watched technology change at unbelievable paces. Every few years, there's something new to collect, learn, and get excited about, from those CDs to the floppy disks and all the other things we just mentioned. It has been a wild ride, and I have a feeling we're not done yet. But little did we realize what we were sacrificing along the way. Our shelves started getting smaller. Our collections became subscriptions. Our libraries became licenses with monthly fees. More and more, the things that we enjoy became something to stream instead of something to own. Now, this isn't a commentary on whether this is good or bad. Streaming is incredibly convenient, and I use it too. It's just interesting to look back and realize how much of our media has become intangible. We don't hold it. We can't display it, lend it to a friend, or stumble across it on a shelf years later. It just is out there until one day it isn't, I guess. So if you've still got a collection of records, cassette tapes, CDs, DVDs, game cartridges, or whatever else, hang on to it. Dust it off once in a while. Show it to your kids. Share it with your friends. It's a little piece of history that you can actually hold on to with your hands. Also, there are still companies making physical editions of games, movies, music. Consider supporting them, maybe? There's just something really special about owning a copy of anything that's yours. And there's also the fact that my NES, my SNES, 64, Polaroids, game collections, CD collections, VHSs, whatever, these have never been hacked, by the way, just saying. Just want to put that out there. I'd love to hear from you. What is one piece of physical media you miss the most? For me, it might be CDs. I loved buying a new album, opening the case, reading every page of the booklet while the music played, organizing them in a CD tower, or flipping through a giant CD binder, looking for the perfect album. That was a huge experience for me. I love that. Maybe you miss VHS tapes. Maybe it's the Nintendo cartridges. Maybe it's those old 3.5-inch floppy disks. Whatever it is, let me know. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And if you really enjoyed it, I'd appreciate a 5-star rating or a positive review, because it really does help other people discover the show and share in the fun memories. And if you're looking for even more retrostalgic fun, follow me on Instagram at BusySignalCast, where you'll find bonus nostalgia content and full vintage commercials from the episodes in all of their glorious grainy beauty. When you leave a comment on Instagram or a positive review, you might just hear it on a future episode, just like I'm about to do right now for longtime listener Jerospace from Instagram, who commented on show 71, Toys That Tried to Kill You 2, The Revenge. He says, "We even had a Nerf boomerang that a friend threw at me and actually put a dent in my ear cartilage that's still there. 80s toys left a dent." Super fun episode, buddy. Thank you, Jerospace. He's right, by the way. Those Nerf boomerangs were wildly unpredictable. You can tell 80s kids by their scars. Also checking in on episode 71 on Instagram, our nostalgic neighbors over at the Retro Resurgence podcast, Chad and Ken. They wrote, "Fun episode, Jim. 2 things. 1, trying to free her from the jaws of the doll, said by the news anchor, is just an insane sequence of words. 2, if you were that one person on Earth that suffered that rib injury as a result of an errant sky dancer, we need to talk." For real, guys, that's hilarious, because the actual sentence of freeing a little girl from the jaws of a doll happening in real life on news is just bananas. I thought that too. And I also want to know the story behind the Skydancer breaking someone's rib. I don't even know how to imagine that. Like, that's wild. Thanks again, Ken and Chad. Always good to hear from you guys. And that takes care of Instagram comments. Now for some housekeeping on Apple Podcasts, because I've been recording a lot of episodes ahead of time lately, and I'm really sorry for those that have left 5-star ratings and positive reviews, and I haven't gotten to them. Now's your time. Gerospace is back. Here's his Apple Podcast review. Super fun and entertaining. Jim does an amazing job of bringing back those awesome retro memories. Fun and super positive. Check out a few episodes and I guarantee you'll be subscribing. Gerospace, thanks a million. That was super kind of you. Thank you. That's awesome. I appreciate that. Last up is another rad review from Glenjamin E., who said, I can't believe I'm old enough to be this nostalgic, but here we are. If you were born in the late 70s or early-ish 80s, it's amazing what a few glances back at your childhood can do for your soul. The commercials, games, music, cereal. If there was a better time to experience youth, I don't want to know about it. Thanks for taking us back, Jim. It's always worth the trip. P.S. You just mentioned Ski Free in the PC Games episode. When you didn't mention it after Minesweeper, I almost filed a complaint with HR. Thanks for that, Glenjamin E. Again, incredibly kind. I'm absolutely floored that you guys and others listen, and it's great to get feedback and hear that it's bringing back some really joyful memories. I love that. I know that there's a bunch of nostalgic podcasts out there, so thanks for rolling the dice and taking a chance on this one. Thanks to everyone who listens and comments, likes, and subscribes. You guys really make this podcast fun to do. So I know this episode was all about physical media, and this is a streaming podcast. That isn't lost on me, but there's nothing stopping you from downloading this show and burning it on a CD. I'm not sure why you would want to, but the option's there. One thing I do know, with Sony phasing out physical games, the market for retro physical games is probably going to get crazy. So if you're into retro gaming, get those games now before the prices go sky high. So before I say goodbye, here is a clip from the 2013 E3 conference. Sony has the stage, and it's taking big shots at Microsoft Xbox by touting the advantages of physical game discs. It's not a long clip, but the message in this clip is exactly the opposite of what they said a couple weeks ago.
When a gamer buys a PS4 disc, they have the rights to use that copy of the game. They can trade in the game at retail, sell it to another person, lend it to a friend, or keep it forever. In addition, PlayStation 4 disc-based games don't need to be connected online to play. Or for any type of authentication. If you enjoy playing single-player games offline, PS4 won't require you to check in online periodically.
Well, that does it for this one. I'm going to pop in a CD to listen to, fire up the old NES, blow in a cartridge, play some Super Mario 3, record something on VHS for later, and run a defrag on my Compact 386. That sounds like a solid afternoon if you ask me. Thanks for hanging out. Catch you later. Once again, I'd like to say thanks for listening. And as always, you can listen to The Busy Signal everywhere quality podcasts are streamed. Hit the subscribe button to have a new episode delivered directly to your favorite device every other Friday. If you really like the show, leave a 5-star rating or a positive review on Apple and Spotify. That lets everyone know to come check out what you already think is awesome. You can also head over to Instagram and follow @BusySignalCast for even more retro-nostalgic content. I share a good amount of stuff over there that isn't mentioned in the show. While you're there, say hi in the comments. Don't be shy. And until next time, remember, reach out and touch the past.
Sonic 2 handles stubborn stains. Embarrassing bald spots, no problem.